Here are the 4 common drivers of dysfunctional PM, Eng, and design subcultures. Let's start with engineering. With engineering teams, I've seen these 4 types of subcultures. These are again anti-patterns. So there's the promotion driven. I think everybody understands this, where work is taken up not based on what's going to drive impact, but what's going to get an engineer or a tech lead or an engineering manager promoted. This is famously the case for Google these days. Rumor has it. Another one is happiness driven. And this I see all the time, where the primary goal of the engineering leaders is to keep the engineers happy, every single engineer happy. So that's the lens through which every decision is taken. Another one is systems driven, where engineers want to build the right systems. There's nothing wrong with building the right systems, but sometimes they take it too far. They're spending inordinate amounts of time on optimizing a system that hasn't had much business impact yet. And they think making beautiful system is their main job. The last of the 4 is expectations driven, where engineering basically doesn't care that much about the actual impact of their work. All they want to do is to set low expectations and then show how they met those expectations related to deadlines, shipping on time, product quality, and other factors. Next, PM, CEO driven. This is very common because the CEO tends to channel often their ideas through PM. There are some PM subcultures that will essentially embody that, which is we'll basically just do what the CEO wants to do. And our job is to decode what the CEO wants to do. Another one is ideas driven. I fell prey to that, ideas driven myself in the past, where it's like, oh, I have these cool ideas and I want to see them become real. Another common one is activity driven, where the PM is like, okay, let's be busy. Let's make sure we make everything efficient, 5%, 10%, 2%. But if you have a small business and you make that 5% efficient, it's still not a great business. Another one that frustrates a lot of teams is sometimes PM subcultures are very driven by short-term OKRs. Design. So one anti-pattern is virtue-driven design. This is where design teams say, oh, we want to focus on user delight and customer delight. And you know what? We need to be users first. All of it sounds great. But the problem is that they fixate on that stuff and not think about business value. We had this problem at Twitter back in the day when there were some people on the design team who thought that it is evil that Twitter shows ads. Okay, that's a very virtuous position to take. And yes, people are going to say, oh, you're such a good human being. The reality is all their salaries and the stock that they were so happy about was paid through the ads. Again, this is actually fairly common and it's hard to fight. Another one that's common among design teams is peer validation driven, where sometimes they're producing designs more out of what's going to be validated in their design crits. Another big one that is a common source of frustration for engineers and PMs is research driven. It's like everything, oh, it needs to be researched. Does research support that? And then lastly, this is less common, but still I've seen it a few times, where it's driven by what's going to look good on my portfolio eventually. There's a lot to dig in here, but I thought I'd share some of these truths with you. As you see this will now start making sense with regards to what you see in your own world and the cause of some of the dysfunctions.